Welcome back to Community Connection. I'm Mark Zegan. Today it is Home Start San Diego as our topic of discussion. Joining me, Laura Mastari. She is the CEO of Home Start San Diego. She is also a licensed clinical social worker and the marketing committee chair and board member, Jennifer Personette. We've been talking about the many services of Home Start San Diego, and there are some new ones, Laura, that you were mentioning, just touching on in the last segment. Let's hear about the tax preparation, the tax help for those who need help preparing their taxes.
Yes, as most folks might know, it is tax season right now, so we have an EITC, Earned Income Tax Credit program, and we provide free tax preparation for low-income families in the central region of San Diego, so the entire city of San Diego, as well as the east region of San Diego. And I think, another way to look at this tax program, it's really a poverty prevention program. So many of these families are afraid to get their taxes done for numerous reasons, many times cultural and language barriers, but they are getting an average of $2,000 per return. So we get some families that are getting even more than that. So we provide the taxes for absolutely free. Now, there are some for-profit tax providers out there that are advertising that they do taxes for free. They do not. Once the clients go in the door, they do part of the taxes for free, but then they charge for other pieces of it. So don't believe any of those for-profit tax providers, because there are nonprofits who truly are doing taxes for free, and we would love to help. And if they're in a different region of San Diego, they can call 211 San Diego and find out where there's tax preparation in their particular region. But we think it's a very exciting program. We're putting money back in the pockets of these families, and we know these families are spending the money because they really need the services and the resources for their families. So we're thrilled. We have about 65 trained volunteers that are helping us out with the tax preparation. And so we're there, and folks want to help us by volunteering next year. We'd love to hear from them. And it's really important.
If somebody wanted to get involved in anything Home Start has to do, perhaps the tax preparation issue, that maybe they're good, they're an accountant, they'd like to help out, or anything that you provide and then you need assistance, how could they get involved?
Well, the easiest thing for most people is our website. I think everybody likes electronics now, which is www.home-start.org. Or if you like the telephone, it's 619-692-0727 is our main phone number.
And going back to another issue you brought up as you were talking about, probably something you didn't have to worry about 40 years ago. You weren't around, of course, but when Home Start just kicked off and got going, many different languages, the language barriers. We have, I've lost count of the number of languages which are spoken in San Diego. So you will need people to help you in that type of situation, too.
Yes, what we've really noticed, too, is our staff has truly grown in diversity, and the largest percentage of our staff are actually bilingual staff. So we have staff that speak numerous languages. Spanish is the most common, but also Vietnamese. We have some African dialect speakers and some Chaldean language speakers as well. So we have a diverse staff, and we are trying to address the diverse needs of this beautiful San Diego community.
So if you are a speaker of any of those languages and you think you can help out, get in touch with Home Start San Diego because they really need you. I noticed another new program. It's called the Home Start Financial Opportunity Center.
Yes.
What is that?
I think the concept of the Financial Opportunity Center is the idea that we would be able to work longer with clients, with recipients of our services. One aspect of it is the financial literacy education. So how do we really help clients understand how finances work and help them create a plan for a strong financial future? Certainly employment is a part of that, and linking to educational resources, as well as numerous other community resources that are out there. And the idea would be to really change an individual's life path through employment, through financial literacy education, linking them to the resources, and helping them create a very specific long-term plan. There are some businesses out there that charge folks a lot of money to give them advances on their paychecks. So we do a lot of education around that, and we have great relationships with numerous banks and credit unions in the city, and so they partner with us and help clients create savings, checking, and really begin to create a positive plan for themselves and their families.
Yeah, there may be so many populations that really aren't cognizant really what to do in that type of situation, and Homestart can also help them with that and your financial partners. So that's a great idea.
Yeah, we have great partnerships, and, sometimes families are struggling. They want to get the money, so they want to go to that payday advance place so they can get their checks sooner. They get charged these really crazy fees, and so we educate around that, and we create opportunities through banks and other financial institutions. And we have some incentive programs, so they'll actually get money deposited in accounts that they'll start. And so we want to have these families learn everything they can so they can be happy, successful, and independent.
On Community Connection, that's Laura Mastari. She is the CEO of Homestart San Diego. She is a licensed clinical social worker. So you've been down in the trenches and you've seen what's going on, and perhaps you might have a story or two to tell us about that. Jennifer Personette, the Marketing Committee Chair and Board Member, of course, involved in the upcoming fundraiser. It's a family affair, which is taking place Saturday, April 28th at the Estancia La Jolla Hotel and Spa. We'll tell you exactly how you can get involved with that. Another project coming up later that you need to tell us about.
Absolutely. In October, which is Domestic Violence Month, so, is right in line with child abuse and all of the services that we provide, we run a campaign called Quarters Count. And if you think about roughly the population of San Diego and surrounding counties is about 4 million people. If we said, can we have a quarter from every San Diegan, a quarter, that we can give back to the community and we can give to families and children in need, we would raise $1 million. And that gives me goosebumps thinking about it because that's so exciting. And, I could probably go in my car right now and lift up my floor mats and find a couple quarters in there right now, right? Or some leftover change in the toll booth or underneath my couch cushions. So it's a small gift like that can really, by getting the power of all San Diegans together can raise a nice sum of money that we could help directly in San Diego.
So how will you run this program, Jennifer?
Well, we have a TV campaign, radio. We have a website, quarterscount.org, where people can give directly. And, of course, we take gifts from 25 cents to, $25 to $25,000. So we're happy to accept money there. We also have street teams in the month of October. So you'll see us around everywhere. You'll see us with big neon-colored shirts on, literally asking for your quarters and getting those quarters. It's really exciting. We have a very active board. And as a board member and our other board members get involved, and we're pounding the pavement on the streets collecting quarters.
You're very passionate, I can tell, Jennifer, about this. How long have you been a board member? How long have you been with Homestart San Diego?
I have been on the board for 2 years. I just celebrated my second anniversary. It's really exciting.
And you obviously have seen some of the work that goes on, and that's obviously very fulfilling when you can help raise money. You can do anything to help the cause.
Absolutely.
Have you had a chance to go and watch and see some of the programs in action?
I haven't seen any of them in action. I've been part of the maternity shelter program and building that from day one and creating that, and Laura can tell you all about that. And
that's something.
One of the women that's involved in the program.
Let's talk about that brand new maternity shelter program. Now, Laura, you have the information on that, don't you?
Yes, I would love to talk about that, Mark. It really grew out of a need that we saw that wasn't being met. I think what I tried to do in my first year at Homestart was to go out and actually visit and see the different programs that we provided, and at-risk home visitation was one of them. And I went out with our team and I watched them in action. Super passionate, very skilled team of women who were working with these new mothers and young babies who had some risk factors for child abuse and neglect. And I was talking with the team and I said, what keeps you awake at night? At the end of the day, when you're thinking about your clients and you're thinking about what you do, what are the things that worry you the most? And they said, it comes down to housing. We can teach them about child development. We can link them to various resources, but the wait list for Section 8 housing in San Diego County is anywhere between 5 and 10 years, depending where you live. And there are a few housing programs for transition-age young people, but they're all full with waiting lists. So what we don't really have for some of these young women is a safe and stable place for them to live. So out of that need, we started our maternity shelter program, which is a housing program for homeless or at risk for homeless, or some women that are living in very unstable situations. They might be in a very, very overcrowded apartment where there are drugs going on. They might be couch surfing. They may be in a domestic violence situation. So they're clearly not in a healthy environment. So transition age means 18 to 24. They can either be pregnant or be parenting a young child under the age of 5. And this is housing and case management and supportive services for them.
That's got to be a very tough situation when you're that young. Perhaps you're pregnant and you're in a situation which is possibly abusive or possibly dangerous. How do they find you? How are they referred? This is even different than the other type of parental situations. How do they find you?
You know, it's interesting. Just word of mouth gets out because I think it's such a huge need. If you look at some statistics for, say, young people in the foster care system, and then within aging out of the foster care system, within 2 years of aging out of the foster care system, 60% of former foster youth are pregnant and parenting. That is more than twice the range for just an average 20-year-old. So the need is there, and the word gets out because there aren't enough housing units for this population.
The Section 8 housing, how many units are? Do you have any idea how many units are in?
You know, I can't answer that. I bet there's a housing expert who could answer that, but I do know that the wait list is very, very long, and it depends on which part of the county you're in. 5 to 10 years is the last statistic that I have heard. But we want to focus on the very particular needs of young women and their young children, because for us, again, child abuse and neglect prevention is so critically important. Prevention saves millions and billions of dollars if you compare it to what it costs to address situations much further down the road. So preventing child abuse and neglect is our number one focus. So what we created was a permanent supportive housing model, which gives them as much time as they need to address their needs, which first and foremost is effective bonding and connection to their babies. Those first 0 to 3 years are critically important. I heard a speaker the other day talking about the long-term differences in terms of success as an adult and how so much of it is related back to 0 to age 3 and the effective relationship with their parents.
So if there's a young mother out there who is in dire need of this service, what should they do?
They could check our website or call our phone number, which is 619-692-0727 or www.home-start.org.
Yeah, one more time for the website, because there's always a chance some of these young ladies might not have internet access. So the phone number one more time.
It is 619-692-0727.
And in the last few minutes we have, that is Laura Masteri. She is the CEO of Home Start San Diego. Let's talk about the fundraiser. We've got about a minute or so. Let's talk about this big fundraiser in the last minute here.
All right. We've got our Blue Ribbon Gala coming up at the end of April, actually April 28th. It's at the La Estancia in La Jolla. And we're celebrating, it's a family affair. It's kind of a 70s theme, so you can come in 70s attire or just regular little black dress cocktail attire. But we'll be having a dinner, a live auction, a silent auction to really bring those critical funds in for the programs we've been talking about today.
Takes place, again, Saturday, April 28th, the Estancia La Jolla Hotel and Spa. And then for ticket information, they can go to
home-start.org.
And hopefully you will have a full house for all of that. So many different programs, so many things to talk about. We've given you, I think, a pretty good overview of what Home Start San Diego can do. So many different services, helping those in need in maternity services, helping parents and children that might be in crisis situations. Go to their website, which is home-start.org. You can learn more about Home Start. You can help. You can volunteer. And thank you very much for joining me on Community Connection, and keep up the good work, and hopefully you'll have a good crowd for It's a Family Affair, your big fundraiser. That is Community Connection. Again, my guest, Laura Masteri, the CEO of Home Start San Diego, Jennifer Personette, Marketing Committee Chair and Board Member of Home Start San Diego. That's Community Connection. I'm Mark Zegan.